Good afternoon from fighting Greece. Dear brothers and sisters, dear friends, dear comrades, I want to thank you for your invitation and for your support. As we the Greeks are facing the most vicious attack against our standard of living and against our rights, against what our parents and grandparents achieved the last decades through struggle. Can you listen to me? Yeah. I want to bring to you the warmest fraternal greetings of my co-workers and comrades. I want to bring to you the message that we feel that this is a common struggle against a common enemy, and that therefore we need to develop links between us, we need to coordinate our struggles, we need to fight together. I know that in Britain, your government has announced huge cuts just like in Greece. This happened to us, and at the beginning it was very quiet. But believe me, this was the quiet before the storm. They slash our wages in the public sector between 20 and 30%. They slash the minimum wage from about 740 euros monthly gross to 590 euros monthly, which is less than 550 euros a month take home. They also attack the pensioners even when they get less than 500 euros a month. The situation in the private sector has been described as a jungle, even before the IMF and the European Central Bank intervened to provide their salvation proposals. Now it is becoming even worse as they proceed by the new laws they carry through Parliament to freely sack workers without any need to even justify their actions, and replace the workers with a new cheap labor at 550 euros a month. Regarding the unemployed, if they are young and without previous work experience, they simply have no unemployment benefit at all. And if they are older workers, irrespective of how long they work, 10, 5, 25, 35 years, their unemployment benefit lasts only for 12 months and then nothing. Why do they launch this vicious attack against us? Because supposedly we have been living beyond our means. That is what they say. We have created, they say, a huge national debt and great deficits. But we, the workers, have never seen any of this money which we have supposedly spent. On the contrary, for the past 20 years, we have received one austerity pact after another. In the mid-80s, an austerity plan was applied in order for Greece to enter the EU. In the 90s, another austerity plan was applied to enter the Eurozone. After 2000, another austerity plan was applied to pay for the Olympic Games. After 2004, another austerity plan was applied to pay for the deficits of the Olympics. For 25 years, the Greek working class was attacked, and attacked, in order supposedly to put the economy in the right course, to make it efficient, to increase its competitiveness and productivity. And after 25 years of austerity policies, it comes the worst attack experienced by 3 generations, which is savage, brutal, inhuman, and barbaric. But we know where the money has gone. We know why there are deficits and how and why there is such a big sovereign debt of 125% of GDP. During the past decades, Greece has been the place with the highest profitability in the whole of Europe. Ship owners and bankers, industry and trade were so proud of their profits at the same time as workers, particularly the new generation, were made poorer and unemployment was rising. The deficits were created because the Greek governments of the right-wing New Democracy or the so-called socialists of PASOK played the role of continuously transferring wealth from the state coffers to the pockets of the big capital. They massively cut down taxes on profits, and on top of this, they gave them donations, they gave them incentives, they paid for expenses on social insurance, they gave them subsidies, etc., etc. They handed over to them the wealth of the pension funds, and they plundered them. It is estimated that they robbed from the pension funds the equivalent of at least 1/3 of the GDP. This is over 100 billion euros. Now they say the pension funds have deficits, so we have to pay for them by raising retirement age and lowering pensions. The minimum pension is thus lowered from about 500 euros a month today to 360 euros a month. They spend fortunes to give big compensations to workers in the public sector to retire early in order to privatize them. They even want to sell some of the Greek islands to foreign investors. I read it today in the newspaper. Comrades, all these policies were conscious. They were not mistakes and they were not accidents. It was the conscious policies of the Greek ruling class to use the state to remove the wealth from the working class and hand it over to the Greek capitalists in order to assist its position in international competition and particularly its expansion into the Balkans. That is why deficits were created, and that is how the debt was created. And then the global economic crisis came. The international banking system was threatened with collapse, and the governments intervened to save the bankers, to save the industrialists. New deficits were created, and the debt became even greater, globally and also in Greece. That is what we are being called to pay. They say the representatives of big capital in Europe, the rich European states, the EU Commission and the European Central Bank, they say that the Greeks live beyond their means and that therefore now they have to pay. Why don't they come and check? Why don't they visit a Greek supermarket to have a look at the prices which are more expensive than here in London? Why don't they have a look at the electricity bills in Athens to find out they are more expensive than most German cities? And then, why don't they go to the Greek young workers, the new working class who live on 400 to 500 euros every month, and tell them that they live beyond their means? This is the generation known in Greece as the 700 euros generation, which lives on the basic wage of less than 700 euros, but actually never receives it all, because it cannot get a full-time job. The workers living on this wage represent now over 1 million in Greece, and the labor force in Greece is more than 4 million. And they include those with university degrees and even with postgraduate degrees as well, and these degrees have no value anymore. On the other hand, 65% of all Greek pensioners live on less than 600 euros a month. Why don't these highly salaried EU bureaucrats who earn a few tens of thousands of euros every month in wages, compensations, extra allowances, donations and various presents, why don't they go to these pensioners and explain to them that they live beyond their means? They are hypocrites, they are liars, they are not interested in the truth, they are not interested in reality. They don't care about the working class people.